What if the one thing standing between you and fluent English is how you talk to yourself on the hard days? Welcome back, friends. I'm so glad you pressed play today. My name is Olivia, and this is English Unleashed Lab, the place where your English grows stronger every single time you listen. In this episode, I want to talk about something every learner needs but rarely gets: the fuel to keep going. How do you stay energized when English feels difficult? How do you protect your motivation when progress seems invisible? And how do you actually enjoy this journey instead of dreading it? That is exactly what we will explore together today. I will speak clearly and at a steady pace. I will use everyday words and repeat the important ideas more than once. You can listen, then pause, then say the words aloud with me. This technique is called shadowing, and it is one of the most powerful tools for building real spoken confidence. So take a slow breath, settle in, and let us begin. Here is something important to understand right now. Learning English is genuinely hard work. That is not a warning. It is actually great news, because if it were easy, it would not be worth very much. Feeling tired, feeling uncertain, feeling like you missed something, all of that is completely normal. Every single person who has ever learned a second language has sat exactly where you are sitting right now. You need time to absorb new words. You need time to hear the rhythms of the language. You need time to move from understanding to producing, from listening to speaking. And that time looks different for everyone. Some days, English will feel like a game you want to play all day long. Other days, it will feel like a wall you cannot see past. Both of those days are part of the same journey. On the good days, enjoy it. On the hard days, trust it. So on the bright days, celebrate every small victory. On the heavy days, simply do not quit. A tiny step forward still counts. You do not need to be flawless. You do not need to speak at the speed of a news anchor. You do not even need to know every word in this episode. You only need to show up and try. Think of learning English like crossing a wide river on stepping stones. Each stone is a lesson, a podcast, a word you remember, a sentence you understood. You do not leap across in one jump. You move from one stone to the next, carefully, steadily. And here is the thing about stepping stones. You cannot see the far bank when you start, but every stone you land on brings you closer. Some learners reach the far bank quickly. Others take longer. But the only people who never arrive are the ones who stopped stepping. So please, keep stepping. You have already come further than you realize. You have already learned new words, heard new patterns, understood ideas that once seemed impossible. Even if that progress feels invisible right now, it is real. You are not at the starting point anymore. You are already in the middle of the river. Now, let us talk about motivation, what it really is, and how to find it again when it disappears. Motivation is not a feeling that arrives one morning and stays forever. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. Most of the time, motivation is very quiet. It is that small inner voice that says, try once more, do 5 more minutes, do not give up on this yet. When that voice goes quiet, you need something to wake it back up. The most powerful thing I know of is your reason. Your personal, specific, deeply felt reason for learning English. So ask yourself right now, why am I learning English? Is it to connect with colleagues at work? Is it to pursue a university degree abroad? Is it to finally watch your favorite films without subtitles? Is it to speak with someone you love in their own language? Your reason is not small. Your reason is not silly. Your reason is the engine under everything you do. When you feel like skipping a session, remember your reason. Write it somewhere visible. Say it out loud before you start. Because the days when you feel least like practicing are precisely the days when your reason matters most. And here is the truth about daily practice. Even 5 minutes matters. Even listening while you cook dinner matters. Even repeating one sentence in your head before you sleep matters. Every repetition is a deposit in your English account. Small deposits made consistently grow into something extraordinary over time. 5 minutes of English today is worth more than one perfect hour you keep postponing. All right, in this next part, I want to give you some practical tools, real strategies you can use right now when you feel your motivation slipping. The sentences will be slightly longer from this point, but still clear, still simple. Let your ears stretch a little. That stretching is called growth. Strategy 1. Do something tiny. On the days when energy is low, do not try to do everything. Do not open 10 tabs, start a long lesson, or pressure yourself to study for an hour. Instead, choose the smallest possible action. Listen to English for 4 minutes. Read 2 sentences from a short article. Repeat one phrase you heard recently. Something tiny beats nothing every single time, and often, very often, starting something tiny is enough to make you want to continue. Strategy 2. Revisit your reason. We talked about this already, but it is important enough to repeat. On hard days, write your reason down in your own words. Do not just think it, write it. Something happens when a reason moves from your mind onto paper. It becomes more real, more solid, more yours. Read it back to yourself. Let it remind you what all of this effort is building toward. Strategy 3. Remove the friction. One of the biggest reasons people stop practicing is not lack of desire. It is the slight inconvenience of starting. Your English materials are inside an app you have to find, inside a phone that needs charging, somewhere under a pile of other things. Make your English easy to reach. Keep a book visible on your desk. Save a podcast episode directly on your phone's home screen. Set a single gentle alarm that says time to listen. The easier you make the start, the more often you will actually start. Strategy 4. Change how you speak to yourself. This one is quietly powerful. The words you use about yourself as a learner shape how you learn. If you tell yourself you are slow, your brain believes it. If you tell yourself English is impossible for you, your brain accepts that too. So replace those words. Instead of saying, I am terrible at this, say, I am still learning this. Instead of saying, I will never speak well, say, I am building something that takes time. You are not bad at English. You are in the process of becoming good at it. There is a big difference. Strategy 5. Mark your small wins. Do not wait for a big result before you allow yourself to feel good. Did you listen to English today? That is a win. Did you catch a word you did not know before? That is a win. Did you repeat a sentence and feel your pronunciation get a little smoother? That is a very real win. Keep a small list somewhere. A note on your phone, a sticky note on your mirror, and write down one win each day. Over weeks, that list will become something genuinely beautiful to read. All right. In this next section, I want to talk about a question many learners ask. How do I actually know if I am improving? Because sometimes you study and still feel stuck. You listen, you practice, you repeat, and then you look at yourself in the mirror and wonder, is any of this working? Let me tell you clearly, yes, it is working. But progress in a language is like a tree growing. You cannot see it happen in the moment. You only notice it when you look back. So let us talk about how to look back in ways that actually show you the truth. First, keep a simple English log, not a complicated journal, just a line or two each day. What did I do in English today? What word did I learn? What sentence did I manage to understand? After a few weeks, read back through it. You will be surprised. Things that felt difficult 2 weeks ago will now seem manageable. Words you had to look up will now feel familiar. That is real evidence of real progress. Second, record your own voice. You do not need a studio or special equipment. Use your phone. Speak a few sentences. Introduce yourself, describe your day, talk about why you are learning English. Save the recording. Then do the same thing 3 or 4 weeks later. When you compare the two recordings side by side, you will hear a difference. Your pace will be more relaxed. Your pronunciation will be cleaner. Your pauses will be more confident. Progress you could not feel while it was happening will suddenly be something you can hear. Third, pay attention to the quiet moments of understanding. Not the big ones, not the certificate or the exam score, the quiet ones. The moment you watched a short video in English and realized you had not turned on subtitles. The moment someone spoke to you in English and your brain responded before you had time to translate. The moment you read a paragraph and it just flowed. Those moments are not accidents. They are the visible tips of weeks of invisible work. Fourth, look behind you, not only ahead. Learners often focus exclusively on the distance remaining, all the things they still cannot do, but try turning around occasionally. Look at where you were 6 months ago, 3 months ago, even 1 month ago. Could you follow a conversation like this one then? Could you understand these sentences at this pace? If you are being honest, the answer for most of you is no. You could not do what you are doing right now. And that truth is worth celebrating. Here is a reframe I want to offer you. Slow progress is not failed progress. Slow progress is just progress at your pace. And your pace is the only pace that actually matters for your life. All right. In this part of the episode, I want to talk about something that holds many learners back far more than grammar ever could: the fear of making mistakes. This section will continue with sentences at the same natural pace. Focus on meaning, not on catching every single word. Trust your ears. Mistakes are not the opposite of learning. Mistakes are how learning actually happens. Every mistake you make in English is your brain forming a new neural connection, testing a boundary, asking a question about the language. When you say something incorrectly and then hear the right version, your brain holds both, what you said and what was correct. And that comparison is precisely how memory is built. Think about how a child learns to walk. They do not study the physics of balance before taking their first step. They stand, they wobble, they fall, they try again. And nobody watching them fall says you are bad at walking, you should stop. We cheer, we say try again. we celebrate every unsteady step because we understand that the falling is part of the learning. Your English mistakes deserve that same warmth. So when you say the wrong word, when your grammar slips, when someone looks confused and you realize you explained something incorrectly, that is not a reason to go quiet. That is a reason to try again. Say it differently. Ask the other person to help you. Laugh a little if you can. The most fluent speakers in any second language got there by speaking badly for a long time and refusing to stop. And please remember, nobody expects you to be perfect. The people you speak English with, colleagues, travelers, friends online, they are not grading you. They are listening for your meaning, and your meaning comes through. It always comes through when you are willing to speak. Now, one more thing about enjoying this journey rather than merely surviving it. Make English fit inside your real life, not on top of it. English does not have to be a separate task you schedule and dread. It can be woven into what you already do and love. If you enjoy cooking, find cooking videos in English. If you love sport, follow commentary or podcasts from English-speaking leagues. If you like history, find short documentaries without subtitles. If you love animals, follow English language nature channels. When the content genuinely interests you, your brain relaxes, your attention deepens, and learning happens almost without effort. Because here is what happens in your brain when you are genuinely interested in something. Dopamine increases, attention sharpens, and memory retention improves significantly. In other words, enjoyment is not the reward you get after learning. Enjoyment is one of the most effective learning tools you have. So give yourself permission to make this fun. All right. We are in the final section of today's episode. I want to take a moment and talk about what is actually waiting for you on the other side of this work, because I think sometimes we forget the extraordinary size of what learning English actually unlocks. English is spoken actively by more than 1.5 billion people on every continent of this planet. When you learn English, you are not learning one country's language. You are learning the world's shared language. You are gaining the ability to speak directly with people in Lagos, London, Manila, Toronto, Sydney, Buenos Aires, Seoul, and thousands of cities in between. That is not an exaggeration. That is the literal reality of what this language opens up. Think about the professional world. More international job listings, research papers, technical resources, and career opportunities exist in English than in any other language. When you can read and speak English confidently, your professional options are not doubled, they are multiplied. You can apply for positions that previously required a translator. You can join global teams. You can present ideas across borders. Think about education. The world's most widely used academic databases, online courses, and university programs operate primarily in English. When English becomes familiar to you, an enormous library of human knowledge that was previously locked behind a language barrier opens directly to you. Think about connection. Somewhere in the world right now, there is a person who shares your exact passion, your love of a specific type of music, your obsession with a particular sport, your fascination with a scientific idea. The language that will most likely let you find and speak with that person is the language you are building right now. And think about your own confidence, the kind that comes from knowing you can navigate an unfamiliar situation in another language. That confidence does not stay in English. It spills over into everything. It changes how you see yourself as a learner, as a communicator, as a person who takes on difficult things and keeps going. You are building something real. You are doing it right now, in this moment, by listening to this episode. And I want you to feel the weight of that. So here is what I want you to take away from today. Keep going, even when it is slow. Remember your reason, even when it fades. Speak anyway, even when it is imperfect. Celebrate your progress, even when it is small. And please be genuinely kind to yourself in this process, the way you would be kind to a friend who is learning something difficult and brave. If today's episode gave you something, a new idea, a fresh burst of energy, a reminder you needed, then please give this video a like and share it with someone who is also on this journey. You are part of the English Unleashed Lab community now, and this channel exists because of listeners like you who keep showing up. You are not alone in this. You never were. Every person listening to this episode right now is walking the same path you are walking, and we are all going forward together. Keep listening, keep speaking, and keep choosing to believe in your own ability to grow. I will be right here with you every step of the way. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next episode.